The SEC is adding attorneys to crypto enforcement unit. Oh my. So the SEC's crypto crime unit is looking to hire general attorneys in New York, Washington, and San Francisco. Attorneys expected to conduct investigations involving crypto securities, develop litigation plans, draft legal documents, including subpoenas, and conduct depositions. The salaries range between $140,000 and $260,000, depending on the location. The job posting comes after Gary Gensler asked for around $2.4 billion in funding for the purpose of chasing down crypto misconduct on March 28th. I think that this is absolutely ridiculous because I don't know if the $2.4 billion actually got approved, but I don't know how you can hire attorneys to go after people when there's no regulatory framework on how to go after people, or like what is a security, what isn't a security. Because literally the CFTC and the SEC are bickering between what's a security and what isn't a security. And we also have Congress stepping in and wanting to talk to Gary. I believe that they're supposed, I think it's a House committee. There was a separate unit that was established January 2023. I forget which one it is, but they're going to be questioning Gary and asking, like, basically, what have you done? Like, we want guidelines, we want regulation, like, we want some framework. So I don't understand how they're able to hire people when they don't have anything to kind of go after other bad actors. Will, you made a face.
Point. That's a fair point. I am always making faces, though, so don't take that as a sign of intelligence. I'll take it really quick, and then I'll throw it to Zach. I want to read two headlines really quickly. This is from February 2023, so only 2 months ago. The SEC to make it harder for hedge funds to work with crypto firms, according to Bloomberg. And then I want to go back in the time machine to last summer. Headline from CoinDesk. SEC enforcement head asks Congress for more resources to tackle crypto issues. I see this headline very much so how I saw those headlines. SEC wants more money to take on this larger product that it really does see under its umbrella. The CFTC also sees it under its umbrella in some way. We've talked about that a lot. A lot of these other agencies also see crypto sort of veering into their lane. As this asset class grows, you're only going to see more of these headlines. So I don't think it's anything that's necessarily like that spooky. The one thing I'll throw out there to your point, Wendy, about like there's no rules or regulations that the SEC is working off of, I think we actually do have more clarity than we did have in the past. And that's based on some comments from Gary Gensler. Notably, he had some comments in a pretty large magazine, which I'm forgetting the name of right now, saying that everything besides Bitcoin is security. So if you take that at his word and you see that he has 2 more years in office and he's continuing to get funding, that might be the regulation that we see coming down the pipeline. Zach.
Yeah, so Gary Gensler's SEC has long been criticized by crypto folks as pursuing regulation by enforcement. So this is very much par for the course, right? In lieu of actual clear guidelines for what people can do and what they can't do, what we've seen time and time again is these enforcement actions that sort of cobble together in a piecemeal fashion what crypto firms in the US can and can't do, right? And this drives crypto people crazy because they just want to clear rules of the road, right? They want to know what's legal, what's not. What's the speed limit? Tell me the speed limit. Instead, what we see here is speed traps set up by the SEC under Gary Gensler's leadership. And we're going to see more of that as indicated by these job postings. So I think that is a bit frustrating to a lot of the general counsels in the room who are working with their crypto teams and trying to establish a footing in the US in a compliant and legal manner. So obviously, we've seen these fights. We've seen Coinbase dragged under the microscope. We're going to see them be probably quite loud in the SEC's complaint against them. There are a bunch of teams who obviously are within the SEC's sights. And so it's going to be this growing battle in which more lawyers are working at the SEC, more lawyers are working with these teams. Hopefully some sort of clear policy framework is emerging from this. But ultimately, I think what we're seeing here is probably more of what the crypto community dreaded, right? More of that regulation by enforcement as evidenced by these job posts. I don't know, Wendy, I got to toss it to you.
Okay, so first thing, like if we're going to take what Gary Gensler said literal in that article about everything being a security besides Bitcoin or whatever, then shouldn't the Hinman speech be allowed to be introduced as evidence into the court case with Ripple versus the SEC? That's number one. Number two, like what a waste. What a waste of $2.3 billion or whatever that was. Like the fact that the United States of America is in a recession, like people are having trouble paying for anything, and we're literally using taxpayer dollars to fund this. to hire these attorneys, which that doesn't even, like, I don't even know how they could justify $2.6 billion when the attorney salaries are only like $140,000 to like $260,000 or whatever that number was. It's kind of like ridiculous. Like, what are they going to be doing with that extra money? There's a lot of things that aren't making sense to me. And I feel like they need to establish some sort of regulatory guidelines and then hire the attorneys. Like, how could you go ask for money when you haven't even done like the initial part of your job? Like, you're basically asking for money, hiring these attorneys, hiring enforcements when they don't have any type of framework to actually go after people. It makes no sense to me. And again, it's like a mockery of our system. There's a mockery of American taxpayers because that's where the money's coming from.
I have a request for an open source dashboard on Dune Analytics. So anyone who uses Dune or is out there and watching this, please put this together. I want an SEC lawyer count versus Uniswap pair count and just like a little tracker indicator. So we can see like how many people they're hiring at the SEC and how many like different tokens are launched out there that they have to go track down, beat the doors down and like throw some fines at some people. That's what I want to see.
Ooh, I like it. It's like
somebody's getting crypto coin for this now, Will, because of what you just said.
That'd be interesting. The SEC lawyer index. We could like go to like, I don't know, go spin that up over on Index Co-op or something. It sounds fun. Reminds me of like the teacher to student ratio when you were looking at colleges, right, Will? Is that what you're saying? Like lawyers per coin ratio. We'll see what we can do.
I like that. I like that.